Hey, what's up? It's John Hansen, and coming up on the latest edition of the Fantasy Points podcast, Brian Drake and I go around the league, recap all the action that went down in week number 3, like my Minnesota Vikings kicking ass, protecting their asses off for Sam Darnold. We talk about the skanktastic battle between Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson, that and much, much more. So hang tight. Get ready for hashtag analysis and early thoughts on week number 3 here on the Fantasy Points podcast. And as always, thanks for liking and subscribing, and you're welcome.
What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
All right, guys, welcome back in. John, you've got to just be jumping for joy down there at your new palatial estate. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-0. I mean, I didn't see this coming at all. They handed it to the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud today. Sam Darnold completes 17 of 28 for $181. That's, again, no one's going to write home about that. 4 touchdowns on the day. 4. Spread it all around. Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones had a receiving touchdown. My guy Jalen Naylor picked him up and started him. And even Johnny, don't call me Ronnie Munt, got into the end zone. What do you think of your boys in purple today, man?
Oh, well, number one, every time I turned on the game or Red Zone went to the game, Sam Darnold's back to pass, and the Viking O-line is protecting their asses off. So, I mean, that is it right there alone. Like, Sam Darnold is a guy that, he's a little bit of a slow blinker. And you watch him and you know he's athletic. He can snap it off pretty well. You're like, if he could just get an extra second and a half in the pocket, because the longer he's back there and he takes a little bit longer to process everything, he does tend to panic and all that. So, and look, you got to give credit to my boy Darnell Mooney is balling out there on Sunday Night Football as we record this, by the way. You gotta protect this guy, and all of a sudden it's a good scheme. Kevin O'Connell is proven good. I was unimpressed after year 1, but over the last couple of years now, this year too, especially, I'm like, okay, I've definitely seen enough. So yeah, I mean, this great O-line protecting him really well, giving him that extra second and a half. You have a stud in Jefferson. You've got a great scheme. It's all happening. And then the defense, I mean, what else can I say? I've been a Brian Flores guy from day one. I love Brian Flores.
Unbelievable.
And they're the best coach team in the league right now. And when you look at it, it's kind of crazy to say, but they might be the second best team in football right now.
Wow. Yeah, they're playing very well.
Who's better than them? Who can you make a strong argument? Maybe
Kansas
Detroit. Other than them. That's what I said. They're like the second best team other than Kansas City. I mean, maybe Detroit. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be fun here. It's going to be fun to see the Vikings come down the road. And big stumble for the Texans here on the road because it was a game where you didn't have Joe Mixon, so I know a lot of you guys out there, myself included, said, hey, can we put Cam Akers into our lineup, John? And 9 for 21 on the ground is terrible.
You got lucky.
He saved your ass with a receiving touchdown, the only guy to get in the end zone for Houston. But I'll say this, all the receivers, even though they didn't score, kind of came through for you. Steph Diggs, 10 for 94. In a PPR, that's a 19-point day. Nico Collins, 4 for 86. You'll take it on a down day. The guy, though, I'm wondering about, Tank Dell. Like, we just can't seem to get him going. He seems to be that odd man out every week.
Yeah, I mean, Steph, it's like Nico is the alpha who can't be stopped and has great chemistry with Stroud.
Yeah.
Diggs is like, basically, he's kind of taken over for Dalton Schultz, that underneath, over the middle outlet guy, volume-based guy. And then, so Dell is kind of stuck in the middle a little bit. I mean, he's probably getting more, definitely more downfield look. I could have sworn I saw a couple downfield looks, maybe a can't miss play here and there. Yeah, I mean, I did see this coming. I did write this up in the article that I wasn't feeling it with Stroud. I tried to lower his ranking a little bit. But yeah, Diggs does come through, man. So yeah, I mean, that's the guy that you could probably count on second now behind Collins, definitely over Dell for now. I certainly wouldn't cut Dell. But how about Bobby Trees? I guess this must have been late in the damn game. I didn't even see this. Wow. How about Bobby Trees getting a couple looks here? A lot of people forgot he was even there.
Yeah, I mean, they went garbage time. Davis Mills got in and played a lot in the fourth quarter. The Texans kind of waved the white flag. Let's keep rolling along here. This is a game of two halves right here. Indianapolis against the Bears. Indianapolis wins 21-16. Jonathan Taylor, what a game for him. He was the guy that you were all over, John. You wanted people to take him at the end of the first round in fantasy drafts. He goes for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. It catches a ball as well. But man, oh man, if you're starting Anthony Richardson, he does nothing for you. Goes 10 of 20 for a $167 with 2 interceptions. On the ground, only gives you 24 yards. That's what you're hoping for them. You're thinking, hey, maybe he's going to give me 60, 70 yards and score. So he's really a buzzkill for you. I know as someone who starts Jaden Daniels and I start Richardson in another league, John, I'm kind of looking around now like, gee, is there somewhere else I can go here? I don't trust these young guys in Richardson. And on the other side, you mentioned in the open, Caleb Williams, 33 of 52 for 363 and 2 scores, also throws a pair of picks. I mean, they scored some points in the second half here, but if you're watching the beginning of this game, everyone's calling for Shane Waldron's head. It's just a terrible offense. They can't run the football. Swift is awful, 13 for 20. Roschon Johnson's back. He only averages 3.8 yards a carry, John. But I think when people go to the waiver wires this week, Roschon Johnson is a name that they're going to be trying to dig up because Swift is abysmal. They gave him all that money.
Yeah,
he sucks.
He sucks. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, I was thinking that, the NFL we're all paying the price because they kind of made a deal with the devil by embracing this BS, fake you out, game of deception with the zone read and all that stuff. And, adopting the college game, which I don't know if that was laziness, complacency, or they just could not get these young guys to pick up these, pro concepts or whatever. So they all have kind of invited this into the league over the last 15 years, and we're all paying the freaking price. I don't know if 20 years ago defenses started, playing a lot more zone and 2 deep safeties if these quarterbacks were going to be perplexed and baffled. No, they would have figured it out. But these guys, for the most part, are not good at all. Like they stink. So maybe in some ways we made a deal with the devil, and now we're paying the price, and the quarterback play is down, scoring is down, everything is down. Everything is freaking down. And meanwhile, you have defensive coaches in the NFL who have been studying how to stop all this stuff, and it's their job just to be a good pro football defensive coach. And it's like I feel like they have an advantage because they're defending against inferior football, basically, and they know it. So, I mean, maybe I know I'm probably going off on a freaking tangent here, but I always kind of think about the way the NFL just kind of got forced on them. They kind of embraced all this stuff. There was a time when Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, they would have been laughed out of the first round, but no, not now. Not now. We're taking these guys, often paying the price. But yeah, Anthony Richardson is a catastrophe right now, which doesn't make any sense because Shane Steichen's track record's pretty good going back to Philly and Jalen Hurts. They spread the ball around. Like Pierce is commanding targets. A.D. Mitchell, I said he was going to be a joke of a pick and looked good in week 1, but now it doesn't. Pittman's dead. Yeah, it's not great. It's Taylor. That's it.
It's
great news if you have Taylor. By the way, I had Taylor at 6 on my PDF cheat sheet. So his ADP was 13, but I had his ass at 6 because he was one of the flawless 4.
Josh Downs returns this week. He sees 5 targets, 3 for 22. If he's on your waiver wire, maybe a guy you want to pick up. I know he's got a good rapport with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
tough.
And Richardson needs that to move the sticks, all
Mm-hmm.
that. Stop looking for the big play and all that.
It was a tough watch for Caleb. I know he put it up 52 times and had like the numbers look really gaudy, but again, you lost the game and it was pretty ugly in the first half. How about Rome Odunze and Cole Kmet? 11 targets apiece.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, Rome Odunze, that would be a player I was like mocking for the ADP, and I'm like, God, you are just assuming that Keenan Allen's going down. All right, well, and I did say, it could be a safe assumption
If and when.
So, yeah, you're looking good here. Cole Kmet showing signs. I mean, they all came through, but again, Caleb Williams is going to throw it 52 times. But then again, if they don't figure out how to block it up a little bit better for the running game and get a little bit more efficiency from the running game, they might have no choice. So Odunze looking good. Kmet is, I think you look at him. I mean, again, I'm trying to see where I had him because I saw this coming. I did write about this on the Hansen's hints and had him in my prop article. I just kind of just doing the research. I'm like, wow, I even looked up the coverage shells. I'm like, yo, it's happening. Boy, it sure did. And he's a good player. He's a very, very good player. And he's starting to click with Caleb. Yeah, he was one of my top matchups to exploit. Even though the Colts hadn't given up much to the position yet, I just saw the coverage shell, cover 3, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. They're going to do it, and it happened. I did also like DeAndre Swift, but we talked about him. Mm-hmm. He, in fact, he sucks. I mean, he's bad. He's really bad. Like, and he was bad last year in Philly, right? I mean, he opened the season as predicted. Oh, he's going to be pretty good, but he really did fade, I thought, and now he's just a bum, basically. I'm not trying to be too hard on him, but man, it's painful.
Yeah, Roschon Johnson paid in his return 38% of the snaps and 13 of 21 third downs he was on the field for. So interesting. Let's watch that. I'm sure he's going to be on the waiver wire list over at FantasyPoints.com.
Why do they dick around with Roschon, though? Why do they dick around with him? Last year they kept doing this too. Like he's up, he's down, he's in, he's out. You know what I mean? Like I sat down with Roschon Johnson. That is a serious young man. It's like talking to a 40-year-old man, that guy. I'm sure he's not a problem in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know what the hell their issue is with him, but you're right. I mean, he's their best pass protector. He's a better runner than Swift. He's a better short yardage guy than. So what is Swift? Like, they need his juice. I get it, but he has no juice.
He's overpriced.
Dude's averaging like 2 yards a carry.
They paid him all that money to come over. He was the first guy signed in free agency when it opened up, and now you're kind of stuck with him. You're like, ooh, we got to keep this guy on the field.